Okay, hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to Easy Markets Daily Picture International with me, that is Charles. Today is the 27th of October, 2023. So, yeah, welcome, everyone. Welcome to this Friday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a view of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendations and should not be considered as such. This material should not be taken as an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. Look, I'll disappear for a little bit from that little left corner, and I'll be back in a bit. Okay, so now then, guys, before we go further, as always, before we jump into the charts, just a quick mentioning of our Easy Markets website, which you can always check out for more information about us. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to us. Yes, so feel free, of course. If you have any questions, just let us know. Now then, guys, let's jump into the charts. Okay. Look, I'll try to make this session kind of a little bit quicker, maybe because it's Friday. Let's prepare, ourselves for today's trading action. And yeah, looking at the first one here, Nikkei 225, and we are seeing a nice rebound from this upside support line drawn from the low of the 4th of October. So in a way, it's kind of showing us that the bulls are not really willing to give up. We saw a bit of a reaction here, a positive reaction. Maybe that's the market kind of digesting all the info that has come out yesterday. I mean, yesterday we did get some. Yeah, we got the ECB, we got the US data, we got some earnings from companies. So yeah, I mean, that was like I would say a rather big day. And okay, I mean, what can I say? Still the market didn't like everything yesterday, but today I think that yes, we're seeing the futures rebounding. But I'll get to that in a bit. What regards to the U.S. indices, but Nikkei, yes, already is doing that job and already rebounding. But we're still below these two trend lines. So in other words, I would like to see a push above this downside line first in order to go higher, and then certainly we will consider some of the other lines, like some other barriers, like for example this 31,450 territory, approximately around here. It acted as a good area of resistance recently, so why not to consider it? So looking at the China 50 index. Oh, and by the way, for the downside on this one, pretty straightforward. The same analysis is valid. I need to see a drop below this upside line, and then we could go lower. China 50. There we go. We're getting that pop. We're getting that move above that 11,883 territory. So that's great. Wonderful. Everything's in line with the idea where I said that if we do push through this barrier and stay above it, then I will consider a larger correction to the upside. And the reason why I'm saying that, because we're still below this downside line drawn from the high of the 1st of August, and any move up to that downside line could be classed as a temporary correction before another possible leg of selling. Now, certainly, of course, if this downside line gets broken, then yes. Oh, no, I don't need this line. No. Then yes, of course, we will start looking at some higher levels and so on and so on. This level here, I don't think that it's needed. I think we can draw something else here, maybe actually marking something around here instead, the 12,230 zone, and then yeah, maybe we could see this hurdle coinciding nicely with the 50-day EMA, and then we will just take it from there. ASX 200. So this one is it's a little bit messy, I would say, and it's a little bit, yeah, it's a little bit not clear. Although it seems like it's not giving up, or should I say, the bulls are not giving up. But as I said before, I'll stick to my game plan. If we do push above the 6,900 zone, then yes, I will consider a larger correction here to the upside. For the downside, a drop below the 6,806 territory right here somewhere is needed, and then we'll go from there. Now, Dow Jones Industrial Average, there we go. We got that slide, we got that drift nicely to the downside. Okay, the question is, will we get a further continuation move lower? Well, in general, I would say yes, because we are now trading below my 33,000 mark on the Dow futures here. So in a way, I'm kind of leaning a little bit more towards the downside. Of course, don't get me wrong. Will that be the case? We'll have to wait and see, because at this point, it's not really clear. So, yeah, it's not very clear. So I would say if you're looking for some higher levels, I mean, I would need to wait for a push back well above this 33,420 zone. But I get it. We could be missing out on a bit of territory right here. So maybe I will bring my hurdle back again into the game here, which I've mentioned before. This one right here, this 33,229 zone. Maybe again, it's not clear yet. Maybe it's not gonna get, not gonna carry any significance. Maybe instead we will keep an eye on the yesterday's high near the 33,200 zone. So good potential target. Yeah, if we do climb above it, maybe we'll consider some higher levels. But look, at this point, I would say I'm leaning a little bit more towards the downside on this one. Look, in general, in regards to the data that came out yesterday, it wasn't bad. I mean, from the US, I'm talking about. So initial jobless claims, okay, that one failed to. That one kind of went a little bit overboard. So a little bit went a little bit higher. Continuing jobless claims as well, but the GDP, the preliminary GDP figure, managed to beat not only, of course, the previous number, but also the forecast. So the Q-on-Q came out at plus 4.9 in the US. So that's, in a way, could be seen as a positive sign here. But I think that the market is reacting negatively to it. Maybe they're afraid that maybe inflation will pick up, and this will force the Fed to raise rates, or should I say, not to go away from the idea of raising rates. Yes, and of course, some other stocks did not show decent results. It seems like to me that look, everybody was yesterday talking about Amazon. Amazon's EPS came out like, what, 60% more. I mean, it was a 60% surprise, so that's, revenue was good. However, there's always however. Still, they didn't like something in there. Can't remember exactly what was the case in there, but but yeah, basically still the market didn't approve what happened with Amazon there. I mean, I think that their cloud service is not developing very well. As I told you yesterday, that everybody's now like focusing on AI and cloud and data, and it's all these tech giants like, Alphabet, and it's no longer measured by its like Google and YouTube performances. Meta is not measured by its Facebook and Instagram performances. Microsoft is no longer measured by its like Microsoft Office performance, right? I mean, Amazon the same, not measured by the their dispatch center and their like kind of sales and how their sales are doing, and how their all the sales on Amazon the website are doing. So these companies, it seems like who's gonna do better in AI and cloud, and that's what they're measured by. And so far, as I said to yesterday, Microsoft is kind of leading the way in that on that front. So yeah, look, I would say this way that just bear with me one moment. Yes, so I would say this way that for now, in a way, there is a chance for this one to drift lower. Will that happen? I would say just be cautious today because look, this popped, this moved higher, or should I say, this moved higher and this pops. And this is also not falling. And maybe the market is ready to kind of maybe go for a little bit of a retracement or something like that. But again, today we don't have much stuff coming out. Let me just double check very quickly. Okay. Sorry. The PCs. Yep. Today we're watching the PCEs. Okay. Yeah. That's going to be interesting. So that's the Fed's favorite inflation metric. Okay, let's wait and see. Let's see how that's going to play out. JD Invest, I can see you there in the chat room. Good morning to you too. I hope you're having a wonderful start of Friday. So yeah, like I said, today we have the PCs, favorite inflation metric for the Fed. Look, at the moment the forecast sits at what? The headline sits at 3.4, so a little bit lower than the previous number. And the core one is also a little bit lower than the previous, so 3.7. Okay, look. Let's see how that's going to come out, because if that's going to continue to slide, then maybe we'll get some sort of a retracement back up here. Because again, like inflation, that means that inflation is under control, and but if it comes out higher, that's where the concern. This is where we could see further declines, and this is where we could see like a move lower. Again, look, we'll see how the market reacts. So it's not always as clear as possible. So basically, my always concern with all these economic data sets is that logically, it has to work out this way and that way, right? Logically, theoretically. But sometimes we see it moving in the opposite direction, and then we get frustrated and like, oh, why the hell is this doing like this? But it actually theoretically, it should have been doing this. Look, that's most of the time the case, but sometimes then after the kind of the storm settles down, you start digging into info, and then you suddenly see that this little bit of info, which the market didn't like, but it at the time of the news coming out, it maybe didn't, and nobody was picking up on that one, or maybe actually they were picking up on that one, but maybe we just missed out. Maybe we were focused on something else, and then after some time you start reading and you're thinking, okay, that's why the market fell. So that's why I always say to you guys, don't try to do anything before the news. Try to kind of wait for the numbers to come out first, and then we can do something about it. The S&P 500. So yes, so far so good. Still balancing above this 4,174 territory. I'm not really gonna say anything else here. I'm just gonna stick to the same game plan. If we do drop and stay below this hurdle, I'm gonna go lower. If we go back to the upside, 4,235. If we do climb above it, then yes, I'll consider a move higher, or should I say a larger correction to the upside. Just a second, everyone. There we go. Good morning, everyone. Just have to have it there in the chat room. Now, NASDAQ, the same story actually. Not much to say here. I mean, look, I'm keeping an eye on that 14,250 zone. If we do clear it, great. I'll go lower. I'll go towards that 13,960, and then we'll take it from there. But for the upside, well, this is where the tricky bit comes in. The upside, well, ideally, I would like to see and wait for a break of this downside line. But of course, I get it. Maybe it's not going to happen. Maybe something else will happen here. So long story short, basically, if you're looking for some higher levels at this point, I would say chill. Chill and wait, because if somebody's saying, look, oh, maybe this is a doji, for sure, yes, it could be the case. But you know how many times I've seen this happening in the opposite direction? A lot. So that's why for me, let's say, let's put it this way, maybe to consider the upside, a push above the high of yesterday, which which is around the 14,459 territory, which kind of also coincides nicely with that 200-day EMA. And if we do climb back above it, then yes, great, I will get a little bit more comfortable with the upside here. So long story short, at the moment, I think, yeah, nothing else here to add. The fact that just keep your eyes on the PCE numbers, and of course wait for the number to come out. And then of course keep your eyes on some of these levels. Now look, I do like this 14,250 zone. Some of you might say, no, I don't like it. I like this. Okay, this 14,300, you can keep an eye on that one as well, but then just be very careful around here. If that gets cleared, well, yes, guess what? Further declines here would be possible. Initially, of course, we would aim for the current lowest point of this week near the 14,140 zone, and then we'll just take it from there. Sorry, guys, my voice is a little bit cranky today. Now, looking at the German index, DAX, we're seeing a bit of a nice retracement here right now. Look, yesterday, I have to admit, didn't really work out according to the plan, because the plan was here that if we do fall below this 14,800 zone and stay below it, then yes, I'll go lower. I'll go towards that 14,714, and if that gets cleared, and so on and so on, right? Okay. It did fall, it did stay, but now we're seeing a nice push back up here. I mean, nice correction to the upside. Now, okay, this is quite interesting, and my question now is, can we see a break of that downside line? Now, that's from where I'm going to consider the upside scenario. And also, I want to grab this level here, this 14,871. If we do push above that, then yes, great. More buyers here could join in, and potentially open the door to some higher levels. But in terms of the downside, now at this point, I will take a conservative approach, and I'll wait for a drop below the current lowest point of October, which is around the 14,714 level. And if we do get that drop, then yes, a forthcoming lower low will be confirmed. FTSE 100, that doesn't. I don't know. I mean, okay, look, I'm still bearish on this one as long as we remain below this highlighted zone. I have nothing else to add. As long as we remain below this highlighted zone, I'm looking towards the downside, especially towards this upside line drawn from the low of the 20th of March. That's it. For the upside, I need to see a push above the 7,423 territory, and then we could take it from there. By the way, in terms of the DAX yesterday, I mean, yesterday we did saw a very volatile day in DAX. By the way, this is something that I forgot to mention because of the ECB, and the ECB did keep the rates the same as expected at 4.5. And then yes, we saw the press conference of Christine Lagarde. They said that, oh, we're taking the wait and see approach. Fair enough. Nothing new, but it's okay. Look, I mean, that's what we have to deal with all the time, so that's all okay. It's all fine. That's part of the game. I would say this way, that for now, I'm keeping an eye on this territory here, and I'm repeating myself already. I mean, I said already all these things, so you already know. The FTSE is here. Yes, I already talked about that one. Now the US dollar. Okay. The US dollar yesterday declined a little bit. And again, I think that the same rhetoric kind of was in the air, because it seems like, yes, numbers came out better. But I think that the Okay, sorry. No, you know what? No, I think I'll rewind all that. Rewind because the numbers came out better and it should have been a little bit more positive for the US dollar because, again, even if we consider the potential idea of a rate hike, then yes. However, I think that the market here is in anticipation of the PCE figure today. So that's going to be quite interesting to see. Again, at the moment, still cautiously bullish on the US dollar as long as we remain above this downside line. So yeah, I need to kind of reiterate everything here a little bit because I was trying to find logic and I cannot really find logic for now. Just the fact that maybe this is preparing for another pop here, another boost to the upside, but I think that the PCE number is needed for that. So, yes, long story short, if you're looking for some higher levels and a push above this 106.57 territory would be required. For the downside, a drop below this downside line and a drop below the 106.15 territory would be needed as well. Now, jumping into gold, guys. This one's still positive. This one's still climbing higher. Yesterday was a bit of a roller coaster ride, and look how well this was playing out. So I talked about that 1973 territory. It provided yesterday fantastic support. Okay, great, wonderful. We rebounded from it. We pushed back up. So the question is now, can we go further? I mean, in general, I'm kind of leaning towards higher levels, and if you followed me this week, I kept on saying that I'm still targeting that psychological 2000 mark, and to be honest, all this activity is just proving to me that it does want to go there. Now, look, I will have to remind you again because it's Friday today, and this is the third Friday since the start of the conflict in the Middle East. And if you remember how Fridays went, I'll just remind you. Friday here. Okay, first of all, let's put it this way. Friday was here first. It pushed higher, but that wasn't still unclear. Then we saw, the market kind of pushing higher that week after the conflict broke out. Then we saw this massive candle here to the upside. Just bear with me. Yep. Then the last week it was this push here to the upside. Of course, it faded away after that, but still we rallied. And now my question is, will we see the same kind of activity this week? Again, I really don't know. Unfortunately, I don't have a crystal ball, only my leather ball, and I'm trying to utilize that as much as I can. But sometimes it's very difficult to predict that future. But look, for now, I'm just trying to go from the logical side, and if we do remain above that 1987 territory, then yes, I will target that 1997 or even that psychological 2000 mark. That's it. For the downside, a drop below that 1973 territory would be required for me. Silver is it's again, it's a mess. I mean, look, we are still staying between these EMAs. We keep violating those, but that's not really. We need to see the body of the daily candle staying either above the 200-day EMA or below that 50-day EMA. These are just false breakouts, so I'm not really quite happy with it. Now, oil continues to trade inside or in between the two trend lines. If you're looking for some higher levels, I think that still the same game plan is valid. A push above the 85.60 territory here is required, and then we'll aim for this downside resistance line. If that downside resistance line gets surrenders, then yes, and gets broken, then yes, higher levels could be met. In terms of the downside, a drop below this upside line would be required, and then yes, we could go for that 200-day EMA. But at this point, we would also need not only a break of this upside line, but also a drop below that 100-day EMA, and then we'll get more comfortable with lower levels. Natural gas yesterday exploded to the upside, looking good. I think inventories came out, natural gas inventories. Let me just, the storage report came out So natural gas futures rebound. Let me just double check. Yes, so it showed that U.S. utilities added 74 billion cubic feet of gas into storage on the week. Okay, so they added, but and on the in a way that's kind of I think that everybody's kind of now anticipating this maybe winter, maybe when anticipating a colder winter or something like that. But okay, look, one thing for sure. Let's even if I put all the fundamentals aside, from the technical perspective, it worked out perfectly. What did I tell you previously? I said to you that if we do pop back above this, when we were here at at this point, I said that if we do pop back above the 3 territory, I'll go for that 3.5 zone somewhere here. I mean, and there we go. Fantastic result here. Beautiful touch. And now my question is, can we maintain this rally? And to be honest, what I will say here is that my next target is the psychological 4 level, and then I will take it from there. So at this point, yes, everything's looking quite nice, quite attractive. But let's wait and see. Let's wait for this to settle down maybe a little bit, because again, we had a strong up move here. So maybe let's see what it wants to do. Maybe it's going to form something like a bullish flag or something like that. So, wait for that a little bit. So if you've missed the rally here, then I would say just let's wait, take a wait and see approach. Because I want to see what it's gonna do here. Maybe it's gonna stall here and then do something, and then maybe it'll go higher. But if it suddenly starts reversing back down and starts falling back below this 3.47 territory, yes, I will consider a bit of a larger correction here to the downside. So that's that's going to be my game plan. Or even better, I think that I would like to draw Fibonacci, but at this point I don't really know what's gonna happen. You know what? I think that maybe okay. Look, I'm trying to find some sort of logic here, because maybe actually we should keep an eye on the 3.36 territory somewhere around here. A drop below that could lead to a larger correction to the downside. Let's jump into corn. Look, I talked about this one recently, and it kind of worked and kind of didn't. Why? Why it didn't? Because I was saying that if we do pop and stay above that 500 zone, then yes, I'll go further north. And we did go further north, but then it quickly changed, reversed back down, and we fell back below that 500 zone, and ended up breaking this short-term tentative upside support line drawn from the low of the 19th of September. Yeah, if we do, and then I said that if we do break this upside line, then my next target is this other slightly flatter upside support line drawn from the low of the 22nd of August. And there we go. We got that test, and mission accomplished. So that's what I'm saying. It kind of worked and it didn't at the same time. So it didn't because the upside scenario didn't really work out, kind of worked out ish. And but it worked out because my downside scenario worked out. So okay, that's fine. Now my question is, can we see a break of this flatter upside line drawn from the low of the 22nd of August? If that can happen, then yes, certainly I will start considering a move towards this territory right here, the 462, and then we'll take it from there. Bitcoin, let's jump into cryptos. So we're seeing a bit of a corrective move lower. And look, everything's in line. Everything's okay. I talked about this yesterday. I said that, look, maybe we're going to be forming something of a triangle. Maybe we're going to be forming something like a bullish flag or a pennant here. And if that's the case, then certainly this could be seen as a continuation pattern to the upside. But let's not rush into things, because again, the decline could still happen, a bigger one, and then maybe we'll go for a correction lower. So at this point, I think my beloved Fibonacci can be drawn, and I think that yes, we can consider that 23.6. Actually, let me just see if this makes sense. Okay, yeah, I think that would make sense a little bit more. Okay, look, so we have this 23.6, and now from the very, very short-term perspective, I would say, why? Come on. Let me just grab a new arrow. So if we do drop below that 23.6 here, on the Fibonacci, then yes, of course, I will target the 38.2 and so on and so on. But of course, another thing here is to, as I said, to consider that potential idea of a bullish flag or pennant or something like that. But for that, in order to consider the upside scenario, I would need to see at least a break of this downside line, and then we'll go from there. Ethereum is also, yeah, in corrective mode. It's all okay. It's all fine. We're still above this 1775 zone. So in a way, yeah, this arrow here, this curved arrow to the upside could still work out nicely. But if we start dropping and stay below this highlighted zone, then yes, I'll consider a larger correction to the downside. I already mentioned that like yesterday. So yes, let's see. Now Ripple, Ripple. Let me just adjust this back again. Why is it? Okay. Yeah, sorry, my chart has frozen, I think, a little bit, because I do have some lines here, but they have disappeared. So yes, I mean, let me just wait for this one. Yeah, okay. Sorry for that, guys. I think my internet is struggling here. There we go. Yeah, where are the lines? Where are the lines? Okay, I removed. Okay, right, got it. So, let's put it this way. I will bring back some of these lines and just kind of, yeah, just have it there. For now, we are, I would say we were in a kind of range, but we violated the upper side of it, so near the 0.5573 territory. There we go. And there we go. We've switched on again. Oh boy. Anyway, so this was the range that I was talking about, and I said too that in order for me to consider the next short-term directional move, I need to see a clearance of one of the sides. Well, we got the clearance of the upper side, but then now we're seeing kind of a move back inside this, or at least trying to move back inside the range. Well, will that be the case? I don't know. That's a difficult one. I would say at this point, I'm still kind of leaning cautiously to the upside, but I think that maybe there will be a point where I'll have to just get rid of my this idea of just keeping an eye on that upper side of the range here, because maybe it's gonna stop carrying significance. That's why at this point I think I'll do that straight away and instead mark something new here. So first of all, I'm going to mark this territory here, and yes, keep an eye on the current highest point of October near the 0.5861, and of course I will consider for now something like this, where maybe, just maybe, we could see a retracement and then a test of these EMAs. And then maybe these EMAs will provide some support, and then we'll rebound and push higher. So something like that could be considered. Now, in case we start falling back below the EMAs here on my daily chart, all of them, then yes, I will consider a move to the downside. Litecoin is still somewhat positive because we're still above the upper side of this triangle, or let's say this downside line. We're still kind of, we're testing it from the other side, and this is the proof of my theory, which I keep on saying, that whenever we break a trend line, we tend to test it from the other side. So, but still, my positivity will come here if we do pop above the 70.66 territory, and then we'll go from there. AUDUSD. AUDUSD, yes, it's a roller coaster ride. It's a mess because we're stuck in here in this formation, but at the same time, hey, let's not rush into things. Let's just kind of relax and wait for that clearance again. So if we once again get a break of this downside line, maybe the second time will be the lucky one. Who knows? But yeah, if we do clear this, then great. More buyers here could join in. On the downside, drop below the 0.6285 territory is required, and then we will go from there. AUDCAD, there we go. We're popping finally above this downside line again. And the question is, can we stay above that? Well, I would say there is a good chance for doing that. Daredevil Dave, good morning. Good morning to you too. Yep. So look, for now, I'm kind of pushing towards the upside here. As long as we remain above this downside line, above the 0.8745 territory, and that 100-day EMA. That's my simplistic approach here on AUDCAD. USDJPY, one of my favorite ones. And look, yesterday we had a nice pop, and there we go. We drift back down. We're still above the 150.16 territory. That's that previous highest point of October. Yes, so we climbed above it. That was the barrier that I kept on watching. And okay, look, it's all still good, still somewhat positive, but I would need to see the pair kind of, pushing away from that 150.16 territory. If I can get that, great. I'll go towards that 151 zone or even above that. But of course, everybody's kind of hoping to see maybe some sort of a slide here, a break of this upside line. Well, for that, we would need to wait for either a sharp move in the US dollar, like a huge sell-off in the US dollar, or Bank of Japan stepping in and stimulating the economy a little bit, and buying the yen. So for now, I cannot really say much. I mean, like, honestly, this Friday's session is a little bit on the boring side, to be honest. I have to admit. Although we're waiting for some data to come out today, but still, Anyway, USDCAD, so far so good. Yes, it's drifting higher, but look, my next target is the 1.3862. And as long as we remain above that 1.38 zone, I will continue targeting that 1.3862. If we do fall below the 1.3785, I will consider a larger correction to the downside. USDCHF pushing nicely to the upside. Look, I talked about this as well. I said to you that if we do pop above this 0.8955 zone right here, I'll go towards the 23.6. If that gets cleared, I'll go towards my EMAs, the 50 tick. Then if it gets cleared, I'll go towards my 200-day EMA. Not tick yet. We'll see. And then we'll go for that 38.2% retracement on the Fibonacci. For the downside, I need to see a drop somewhere below that 0.89 zone. GBPNZD, so far so good, I would say. It's still holding below this downside line. And yeah, if we do get that drop below the 2.0736, then yes, a move lower could be possible here. So at the same time, we would fall below the 100-day EMA, and we could aim for that 200-day EMA. Now, for the upside, of course, we need to see some stronger moves here above this downside line. And I think that if you're not very comfortable with, like this downside line, I would say keep your eyes on maybe this little hurdle, this 2.0965 area. If that gets cleared, a forthcoming higher high will be confirmed. GBPJPY, still in the range. Just wanted to quickly pick up on that. I have nothing else to say apart from that. I'm waiting for that clearance here. So yeah, waiting to see what's going to happen here with this 181.26, and then we'll go from there. And then, yes, I mean, the same story with the upside. A break of this territory is required. A break of this 183.82 zone, yeah, is needed in order to consider a move higher. GBPUSD. GBPUSD is, yes, it's, first of all, still bouncing around here. As you can see, I've removed that level which I had previously here because it's getting violated and it's no longer carrying any significance. So I think that the best option here is just to stick to the idea of that if we do continue to trade below this downside line, then yes, the downside scenario is still possible. If we start breaking the downside line here, then yes, great. We could see a move back to the upside, potentially back to that 50-day EMA. EURGBP, so far a nice hold up here near this 0.87 territory. Look, we did kind of drift back down heavily yesterday, but we remained above this territory. So in a way, the bulls are not giving up. So let's see if that stays like that. But if we fall below this 0.87 territory and stay below it, then yes, I'll consider a larger correction here to the downside towards my upside line drawn from below the 23rd of August. EURNZD, similar story. Look, if we, as long as we remain above the 1.8085 territory right here, then yes, there is a good chance for us to see a push to the upside here, and then maybe we'll get a nice clearance of this 1.8267. A forthcoming higher high will be confirmed, potentially attracting more buyers into the game. Now, my downside scenario. Now, here it's a little bit too far, and I would say this way, that if we do fall and stay below the current lowest point of this week, near the 1.8053 zone, somewhere around here, that's from where I will consider a move lower, and then we'll go from there. EURUSD, so this one's an interesting one. So yes, we have tested this upside line, and we violated yesterday, and we drifted heavily to the downside. But look at this. First of all, I said when my downside scenario will come around here, somewhere from this 1.0495 territory. If we clear that, then yes, I'll go lower. But I think now we can okay, we can draw something around here, because 1.0523 has acted as a nice area of support, so I can keep that one on the chart for now. This downside line, drum roll please, no longer needed. In terms of the upside, I would say, look, if we're looking for some higher levels, it's really difficult to kind of maybe establish here something at this point. But if we do climb back above this 1.0583 territory and stay above it, then I will consider a move towards my 50-day EMA, or even further. But at the moment, and we will at the same time, we'll be back above this upside line, so in a way kind of potentially attracting more buyers into the game. So just keep that in mind. So yeah, look, I have nothing else to say here in general. Like I said, this session today was a little bit on the boring side. I get it, but not every session is super awesomely exciting. But hey, one thing I want to say for sure here is keep your eyes on the PCE today. The numbers coming out, so yeah, that's gonna be a market mover. Try to kind of not overtrade. It's Friday, and as I always say to you guys, that look, if you're already doing good for this month, then just maybe you can leave it, in order not to screw up your stats. But or if you really want to enter a position somewhere, then at least do it with like minimal exposure, because if it's like I said, it's the end of the month, and it might be tricky, it might be very volatile. So just kind of be kind of savvy about it, and be careful and think about this, that at the end we might get like one-way traffics for the next few days, and just kind of pushing towards one direction, and that could, like I said, screw you over somewhere down the line. So, and that's why, like I said, if you're doing good already for this month, just you can just enjoy the market, just watch it, observe it, maybe prepare for the next month. And then, yeah, look, it's all fine. It's all part of trading. Watching and not taking a trade is part of trading. So don't forget that. It's analyzing. It's trying to maybe see somewhere where you don't see something. And you know what? Sometimes I've noticed myself that whenever you're just deciding to push away, step away, and then kind of you see the market movement, and you suddenly start thinking, oh, I should have entered here and stuff like that. And then I think to myself, no, you know what? No, let's leave it. Let's leave it. And then I see I don't know, a tremendous move somewhere there and here. And then I'm thinking, oh, okay, maybe it was actually worth the wait, worth the wait. And then maybe I adjust, and maybe I'll go with something else, something small here. But in general, don't overtrade. That's very important. That's one of the rules that I keep on saying. So don't, have your stop losses in place. Risk only what you can afford to lose. Don't overtrade, and everything will be, and of course, risk only what you can afford to lose. Yes. Don't overtrade, and everything will be fine, guys. Thank you very much. I'll have to wrap it up in here. Thank you very much. I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful weekend. Stay safe, and I'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye. Uh-oh, you just broke a digital image cursing us all to 7 years of market volatility. Undo by subscribing to our channel.